Super Draco here, and we're back for Build Optimus Prime, Pack 1, Part 6. So we're going to be starting on the chest. Now, before we get into that, I've got some batteries because we're going to do some tests real quick. Because once we've built these, we can't replace these, so we gotta, first off, we're gonna make sure these LEDs work before we build. Now, this uses 4 AA batteries. They go right into the battery box, and then it has a cable that's gonna go to the test board. Now, the test board has 3 sockets: a small, a medium, and a large. The large socket is for the battery box, and then we'll worry about the other sockets later. So, also, now the instructions list this as 1 stage, but doing this as 1 stage, it would be an hour-and-a-half video. So instead of that, we're going to do it as a single video. Or, I'm sorry, as multiple videos. So the battery box goes into that large socket. Make sure that the pins are on the right side. And then the small one is for the LEDs. Now, interestingly, I don't even get it all the way plugged in and the LED is turning on. So I'd say that's a positive sign that it's working good. And now we're going to rinse and repeat for the other 3. Okay, so now that we know that the LEDs work, we're going to start building the lights on Optimus's chest. So to start with, we're going to bring in this sprue that has 4 TR-1-47 parts on it, and we're going to cut all of them free from the sprue. Now, I like to cut parts like these as close to the edge as possible because you're going to put caps on the front and the back, so you really don't need to do a lot of cleanup on them unless they don't fit good. And now that those are in place, we're going to take one of our LEDs and we're going to feed it through, and then there are some ridges that it's going to peg onto. And right off the bat, there's a problem with this because the LED does not hold in, it does not clip in. It actually attaches in no actual physical way. So as you can see, it just pops right back out every time I put it in. Man, that sounds dirty. Mine's out of the gutter, but we're going to keep going. So I'm just going to be up front with you. I end up gluing the LEDs down, putting some glue on the ridges where the LED rests, just to give it some structural support while building. Okay, so then we're going to bring in these parts, TR-1-62. They're clearly lenses for the lights. We're just going to cut those off the sprue. Alright, and then we're going to bring in 2 of our TR-1-46 parts, which are the outer, I guess you'd call it the outer rim or the outer cover of the headlights. So the 62 just drops right into it. The instructions don't say to put glue on it. Now, I'm going to end up putting glue on this because during building, the lens wanted to fall out. Okay, and so here we're supposed to start putting the headlights together. Or, well, I don't think these are running lights, but either way, these are lights. But as you can see, as soon as I picked it up, the LED wanted to drop out of position. So next I'm going to take, these are part TR-1-48. I'm going to go ahead and cut those off the sprue. I'm using the exact same method as the other, because again, there's going to be covers, so you really don't need to do any cleanup on those unless they aren't fitting properly. So on part 48, we're going to apply glue to the 3 pegs. Now, I don't think the camera's picking it up, but I'm being generous on this. Alright, so we're going to set that down, and so what we're supposed to do is take that, put the edge of the light with the lens in it on the end there, and then sandwich the other end there. Problem is that the LED keeps wanting to fall out. And if you glue the thing together and the LED pops out, you know, you're going to have to basically cut it open to reattach the LED. So I'm seeing if I'm just not pressing it hard enough to get it to lock into place. And I'm not, so I'm going to apply glue to it just to make sure it stays in. Okay, so I've applied a little bit of glue, so we're going to once again try assembly, and it popped apart again. So I'm going to push down so the glue gets a little adhesion. I only put a small quantity of glue onto the edge upon which the LED rests, because in that piece you can see the other half of the piece that'll hold the LED in place. And then we're going to sandwich it together, and now everything's nice and in place. So that's the first one. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hook up my test box again, make sure that the LED is still functional and didn't get damaged and all that hoopla. And again, look at I don't know if it's just good batteries or good circuit board, but I don't even get the thing all the way on and it's already lighting up. So let's do it again. First thing we're going to do is we're going to drop the lens inside of the, whatever you call that, the front of the light. So LED goes through that hole in the bottom, but before that, just like the first one, I'm going to take my glue and apply a very small amount right to that edge just to create some adhesion between the bulb and the LED, or the LED bulb and the part, until we can sandwich it together. So again, if it works itself loose after the parts are all glued together, well, that's going to be a problem to fix. Then we're going to apply glue to the 3 pegs. Alright, so we're going to try again. We're going to put the lens in, then we're going to bring in our glued down LED, put the top on, well, put the lens in place, then we're going to get the top before it glues itself to my mat, and you can see the LED starting to come loose again. And so now we're going to peg it all together. However, we've got a problem. You can see it right there. My lens fell out of the socket. So now I've got to pry it apart. So we'll be back. What I'm doing here is I've got a pair of straight tweezers. I was able to pry it apart just a little bit with my fingers. And so now I'm using these straight tweezers to pry it apart at the seam. And then now that I've got it this far apart, now I can just work it all the way out with my hands. And there we go. And you see how the lens immediately pinged out? So we're going to correct that. So now we have 2 of these done. So what I'm going to do is, because the other 2 are exactly the same, I'm just going to fast forward through this part. If and when I do anything different, I will slow it back down and go back to narrating. Okay, now that we got the 4 lights built, the last thing we've got to do is we've got these end caps for them. They're parts TR-1-49, so we're just going to cut those off the sprues. Now these, because these are the end, you want to be a little more careful with these. Make sure you're not leaving any deformations or anything on the end. The instructions actually say to apply the glue to the rim on the caps themselves, parts 49. Instead, I'm actually going to put it on the edge on the back of the light. And the reason for that is I want it to literally spread across there and create a better surface. Now, as you can see, I didn't use enough glue because there was not nearly enough tension on there. So I'm putting it around the whole rim. Now, it is obviously a keyhole shape, so it can only fit one way. And then that's one, and we'll fast forward the next 3. And with that, thanks for watching. See you for the next part.